We're now moving on to our next session, which I think you're all going to really enjoy. You're about to hear from Alicia Hallett-Chan, the design director at Forbes, who's responsible for their amazing web stories. Alicia unfortunately couldn't make it for today's live session, but we have her talk pre-recorded for you all. So sit back and enjoy, and I'll let Alicia's recording take it away.
Hi, everyone. It's great to speak with you today. My name's Alicia, and I'm the design director at Forbes, where I oversee the look and feel of all editorial content and branding that appears on our website, social accounts, and in print. We started publishing a web story a day in the spring of 2020, and have maintained that cadence ever since. Web stories are a great format to tell short-form, visual-first narratives that are optimized for mobile devices. This means that we're leaning into photography and video paired with short copy. So how do we do it? Let's talk about our creative process. Since we publish a web story every day, we need to find a workflow that allowed us to have stories prepared a few weeks in advance. So the team works on stories in batches of 5 each week, but we always have 2 to 3 weeks of web stories ready to go in advance. And this makes it easier for us to stay creative and innovative because we're not working under these tight daily deadlines. We've established a great rhythm, and we have weekly checkpoints, and that really keeps the project moving forward. Our day-to-day team consists of 7 creatives. So I'm the creative lead, and I work with our lifestyle editor, Michael Solomon, and he has a writer and editor helping him out, and I have a designer animator helping me out. We also have a dedicated photo researcher who sources all of our imagery from agency sites, directly from the subjects, or works with their PR agencies. And of course, we're supported by the larger Forbes in-house product team, who helps maintain the platform, ensure stability, and monetize the work that we're doing. So let's talk about bringing a story to life. So a great example is Whiskey 101, What to Know About Bourbon, Rye, Scotch, and More. So in this story, the most credible distillers in the industry answer questions about whiskey. So we have quotes from the distillers at Maker's Mark, Woodford Reserve, Jim Beam, Wild Turkey, and others, for example. And they're answering questions like, how important is the barrel to bourbon making? And the answer is very. And is it acceptable to add a drop of water to your bourbon when you're drinking it? And the answer is yes, of course, you should drink it however you like it. And then we also provide recipes to the reader so they can make it at home. So for example, in this story, the secret to making the perfect old fashioned. Our goal with a story like this is to offer the opportunity for those who have perfected their craft to share their knowledge. And then hopefully the reader will come away with a better understanding of the distilling process and a better appreciation for the spirits that they are consuming. So, what makes a good web story? The first thing I think is really, really important is you want to be authentic to your brand and know your audience. The variety of Forbes storytelling helps us resonate with so many different readers and communities, and because of that, it's really important for us to stay on brand. At Forbes, we look for stories that the readers can see themselves in, benefit from, relate, or aspire to. So in this example, you can see our under 30 art and style. So since under 30 is one of our most notable Forbes lists and one that many young entrepreneurs strive to be on, this web story is very true to the Forbes brand. Another thing we do is we focus on evergreen content around those related topics that our readers are most interested in. So at Forbes, that's typically wealth, real estate, travel, auto, spirits, entertainment, health, gaming, and lifestyle. You also might want to consider repackaging your top performing stories into this new and snackable format. All of our web stories are repurposed from long form written articles. And oftentimes, because the web story version is so visual, it often looks even better than the long form one did. So, best practices. So when I think about web stories, I think about 3 main goals. And the first thing is that you really want to get readers to click into your story. So to do that, we aim to find the cover image that's visually arresting and piques the reader's interest right away without being too busy. This also ensures that typography and the headline is legible. So once they're engaged and they're in the story, we want them to complete the story. We want them to get to the end. So pacing is really important, and we want to make sure that the copy flows naturally from slide to slide, keeping the reader progressing forward. And then story length is also very important. So the Forbes reader is typically on the go, and we understand that their time is valuable, so we don't want these stories to run too long. Most of our stories are around 15 slides. And then the last piece is a final slide. So what we've found works really well, and we've tried a few different things, is that the final CTA should drive to another web story. We like the idea of a single CTA and keeping it on the last slide instead of adding CTAs inside the story, is because we prefer to keep the reader engaged throughout the entire experience instead of sending them away before they get to that final slide. And if you're driving to another web story, if you end the story with that link with a related article, it keeps your audience in that web story's ecosystem and reading more, which is always a great thing. So we can talk about some design tips. So I think the most important thing is visual branding. You really want that consistency. So we use distinct visual design to brand all of our web stories. And this ensures easy brand recognition and gives our work credibility and consistency. So when it comes to fonts, we have both a serif font and a sans serif font, but we lean more heavily into the sans serif font because it's really optimized for legibility on mobile devices. And color is how we deliver information, grab attention, and make a statement. So our core color palette is black, white, and red, and full color photography is a defining feature of our storytelling and is used to bring the reader closer to the subject. And imagery and layout is always clean and easy to read. When it comes to photography, Forbes photography documents the highly accomplished as well as those who are on their way. Our images reflect high quality, intelligence, and celebrate our subjects. We try to use images from the Forbes collection, our resource for Forbes' own photography, and as often as possible, but many times we need to include source photography as well. These images of Tyler Perry are unique to Forbes because they are proprietary images from the Forbes collection. However, source imagery should feel appropriate to the story and have a unique perspective when used. So our photo editor searches the highest quality images and videos, which allows our designer to get creative with these assets, creating custom animations and photo illustrations for our web stories. With this YouTube example, you can see, while these are not Forbes collection images, our designer took a creative approach with photo illustration and animation playing off of YouTube's user interface. And then lastly is video and animation. Both of these are a great way to show action and get the reader interested. Many times we're creating custom animations where the video is interacting and overlapping with the typography, and that creates really lovely, fun moments. And then other fun times, or other fun moments could be like a fun red carpet video of a celebrity that's really, really full of energy, and that can really set the stage for your piece. We aim for an equal balance between photo and video in a story, and we lean one way or the other, but it really should be determined by the narrative. So what are the takeaways? The first thing is you want to plan ahead. A few weeks is always best. And you want to stay true to your brand and be authentic with your storytelling and visuals. And you should consider evergreen content and how you can repackage your top performing stories in this new snackable format. So I want to thank you so much for having me today. It's been great to talk you through our process and share highlights of our web stories. I really hope this was helpful.